Alright, so Konami decided to do something weird, so I felt like I just had to make a video talking about this, especially because this is basically a Forbidden Unlimited list change, though Konami just doesn't want to say it is. They're making an adjusted list, and it's like temporarily the list for major events, but not for anything else unless you want it to be, which is like, okay. So for like YCS regionals, things like that, this is the list starting next Monday. But for locals, you can still play the old list, or you can play this list. It depends on the locals. And then I have no idea what's going to happen on DN. Hopefully, we get this changed on DN also, because I'm already tired of Performapal, Performage, and I mean that's barely been out. I'm already tired of it. Um, so this is basically just an emergency ban. That's what it boils down to. So Konami starting next Monday, Plushfire, Juggler, and Ptolemaeus are all banned, and then Joker, Monkeyboard, and Luster Pendulum are all limited. And I mean that's very dramatic, hitting all of those. I think maybe a little knee jerk, just hitting it that much and hitting nothing else. I feel like that's fine, hitting it that much. I think it is justified actually, but I think if you do that, you should hit the other archetypes. To be fair, mostly I'm looking at monarchs with that. Also, I feel like it's just really weird how they don't just make this the list. Like, what's the point of having an intermediate step like this? I think the only reason they're not doing that is because these cards were released so recently. They don't want to like alienate the people who just spent a bunch of money on these. So they're saying in effect, oh, you can still use these cards at locals for the next month or so because they're not actually banned yet. They're just not allowed on the adjusted list. But that's really dumb because people care mostly about big tournaments. They don't care as much about their locals. Also, I feel like the people who spent a bunch of money on this deck were expecting it to be hit. Maybe not quite this soon, but you have to have expected them to hit this. So it can't really come as too big of a shock. Uh, as far as the hits themselves go, I think it's fine, not ideal. If you're going to be making an emergency list like this, and you're not banning Wavering Eyes, I don't know what you are thinking. That's just ridiculous. Like, Wavering Eyes is one of the worst cards that Konami has ever made. It's really bad. And, I mean, sure, these hits are fine, but Wavering Eyes was the #1 priority, so they totally missed the mark on that. Also, they copied the OCG where they're banning Plushfire and Damage Juggler, which I think is personally really dumb. The engine is extremely good, and I think that both of them do deserve hits potentially, but hitting both of them at the same time doesn't make sense. Because if one of them is banned, the other one is instantly not nearly as good as it is currently. So, like, banning one of them means you don't even have to hit the other one, probably, in my opinion. Also, Plushfire isn't a problem in my opinion. The only reason Plushfire is any good is because Wavering Eyes is broken and because Luster Pendulum is broken. I think all they needed to do was ban Wavering Eyes and limit Luster Pendulum. They did limit Luster Pendulum, which I think is a good move. That card is kind of ridiculous. Uh, and then limiting Joker and Monkeyboard. I feel like you have to limit both of them or ban one of them and have the other one at probably 3 would be fine if the other one was banned. I'm not sure on that, but the way they interact is just it's really dumb. If one of them was at 3, it would be basically like having both of them at 3. So it makes sense to limit both of them. And then Ptolemaeus is pretty obvious. I think everyone was expecting that because Ptolemaeus into infinity is kind of silly, and they probably weren't thinking things through very clearly when they had that. Ptolemaeus in general is also a really strong card, even without going for infinity, just because you can access any rank 5, like Pleiades being the main one. Also, access to Diamond in certain formats is really good. That's the thing I'm going to miss most about Ptolemaeus. I thought it was a really good side card, not side card, like a card you could main deck that happens to be function like a side card, for when you're playing against. Well, Shaddolls was the main thing, but if there ever comes up like a dark deck that Diamond hurts as much as Shaddolls, not having Ptolemaeus I think is unfortunate in that respect. There's still Deltaros, but you need 3 materials to make that instead of 2, which makes it a pretty costly investment in a lot of situations. So overall, I think these 6 hearts are fine. I think that they're actually good hits, like in the sense that hitting these is positive for the game. It brings Performapal and Mage down a peg, which allows other decks a chance to maybe do anything. I'm mostly just annoyed that they didn't just have an actual list and they went for like this half measure for no apparent reason. And also they make it sound earlier, and if you actually read this, they make it sound like they're trying to keep these cards around for casual players. But it's like, who's going to be spending $150 on 3 Pendulum Sorcerers if you're a casual player? And I mean, in my opinion, this is just a guess, but most casual players probably do not like this deck. They probably prefer playing their like random decks that don't happen to be tier 1. So leaving it open for play at locals is weird. I don't get that. I think this is an interesting idea, I guess, but I think it's not really a good idea. They should just do a new list, especially because they don't have set end dates. It's not like anybody would be surprised if they came out with a list for February. That it's not like it's too early or anything. They do make it sound like they're going to come out with a list in either March or April in this article, which hopefully they'll ban Wavering Eyes in that. And a few other hits like Monarchs. That'll probably be far enough off from the release of Monarchs that they'll be willing to hit them. One other thing, they for some reason decided to errata Pendulum Sorcerer for no apparent reason. Instead of equal to the number of monsters destroyed, you get to search equal to the number of cards destroyed. So you can like destroy spell and trap cards now and search off of destroying those. Before you could target cards, meaning you could target like your Pendulum spells because they weren't monsters, and then when you destroy them, they'd be an extra deck. They would be monsters, so you got to search because you destroyed monsters. And now they're just being silly, and they're like, "Oh, that was too confusing. Now you can destroy spell and trap cards." Okay. I don't get that, this change. It's weird. It's just making the card better for no reason. And why are we making Performapals better for no reason if they're so good that we have to emergency ban them? I don't know. So, okay, I am a little frustrated with how Konami is handling things, but overall I'm happy with this development. Hopefully you guys are too. I mean, if you don't play the deck, you're probably happy with this, and if you do play the deck, you're probably not happy with this. I guess that's probably how this is going to be going. Well, anyways, hopefully you guys all enjoyed the video, and if you did, be sure to check out some other stuff.